Welcome back to Movie Moshow. Today we are going to review action science fiction film, Let Me In. If you like our content, don't forget to like and subscribe. We upload multiple times daily. Spoilers ahead. March 1983. New Mexico's Los Alamos. A squad of police vehicles accompany an ambulance to Los Alamos Memorial Hospital while their sirens are blaring. Unidentified 50-year-old man being carried by them has acid burns on his face. He is put on a respirator since the acid's deadly fumes burned his lungs, making it difficult for him to breathe. He is approached by a detective, Elias Cotillas, who asks him to identify himself and inquires as to whether he is a member of a satanic sect. He doesn't hear back. He is summoned to the front desk by a nurse to answer a call from the lobby's receptionist, who says the man's daughter is calling to ask about him. The nurse rushes back to the man's room after noticing a sudden change in his respirators beeping and yells. Only the note "I'm sorry, sick, Abby" was left behind when the man plunged to his death from his 10th floor window. It was 2 weeks ago. Before his mother, Cara Buono, invites him for supper, 12-year-old Owen, Cody Smith MC Fee, is sitting by himself in the apartment building's snow-covered courtyard. Since Owen's parents are going through a difficult divorce, he frequently has to eat by himself and pass the time by playing by himself in his room. One evening, he witnesses a young woman of his age, Chloe Grace Moretz, and her father, Richard Jenkins, moving into the apartment building next to his. She is strangely barefoot. The following day at school, Kenny, Dylan Minette, and his friends Mark, Jimmy Jax Pinchak, and Donald, Nikolai Dorian, bully Owen as usual. They give wimpy Owen a wedgie, which causes him to urinate on himself, but out of fear he doesn't fight back. He notices the new girl, Abby, watching him that evening as he practices knife assaults on his tormentors while sitting in the courtyard. She doesn't treat him well and lets him know immediately on that they can't become friends. Her father soon follows and enters the courtyard. The viewers learn that Owen is not Abby's father. Instead, he is her Renfield, and Abby is a vampire. Owen is unaware of this information. He has a duty to give Abby new blood, which he obtains by murdering human beings. He stalks them first, knocks them out, hangs them by their feet, cuts open their jugular veins, and collects the blood in a jug. The father is having trouble getting blood for her, which is unfortunate. He searches a nearby all-night supermarket for his first victim after moving into the new flat, breaking into a local woman's car. He knocks her unconscious at a railroad crossing, drags her into the woods, ties her up by her ankles, slashes her throat wide open, and draws blood from her. He trips in the snow afterwards and spills the blood on the ground. As a result, Abby is getting irritated and hungry. The following evening, Abby and Owen cross paths once more in the courtyard. He notices that Abby is not wearing shoes once more. She also has a terrible scent and her stomach is growling loudly. Nevertheless, Owen gives her his Rubik's Cube and demonstrates how to use it to her. Abby goes hunting after Owen has gone inside. She is hiding out behind a bridge. She pretends to collapse and begs a passing man for assistance. She is picked up by the man, who plans to carry her home. Abby suddenly grabs hold of him and begins to bite his neck. When Abby informs father what she did, he is furious, but he promptly cleans it up by throwing the victim's body into a small lake. The following morning, when Owen is leaving for school, he discovers his solved Rubik's Cube on the courtyard. Abby is waiting for him in the courtyard that evening. She is friendlier this time and spends time explaining to Owen how she approached the puzzle. She also smells better, although it's strange that when Owen asks, she can't recall her birthday. Owen offers Abby the Rubik's Cube because she doesn't celebrate birthdays and doesn't receive gifts because she doesn't know her birth date. The next day, Owen is busy duplicating the Morse code symbols when the class is supposed to be viewing Romeo and Juliet. Later, Kenny, Mark, and Donald approach him in the restroom. Kenny queries what he was engaged in class. Kenny slaps Owen with a metal antenna, causing a gash to appear on his left face, when he refuses to show him. At supper, Owen subsequently tells his absent-minded and aloof mother that he fell during recess. As usual, Owen and Abby meet in the apartment courtyard following supper. Owen tells her the truth about what transpired when she notices the bandage on his cheek. She cautions him that he needs to hit them back firmly before they quit. Abby offers to assist him if they don't stop. The Morse code that Owen duplicated is given to Abby. They hone their tapping technique that evening on the wall dividing their apartments. At school the following day, Owen enrolls in the weightlifting program. Later, he plays Ms. Pac-Man with Abby in an arcade. A now and later candy bar, have one now, save one for later, is what he offers her. She initially rejects one before trying one. Owen comforts her as he discovers her heaving on the sidewalk. If she weren't a girl, would he still like her? Abby wonders. Owen responds, I guess so, unsure of what Abby is asking. Father begins to feel envious as Owen and Abby's connection grows. He makes another attempt to get blood for Abby. This time, he decides to ambush the victim on the highway while hiding in the back seat of a student's car. However, his scheme is thwarted when Greg, a buddy of Jet, requests a ride. Father assaults Greg when Jet stops for gas and then drives away. They crash down an embankment due to the struggling youngster, trapping Father under the vehicle and killing Greg. Father splashes acid on his face so that he can't be recognized, knowing that he is trapped and going to be found by the cops. Abby arrives at the hospital's front desk and asks for her father after learning that he has been admitted. She climbs/flies up the outside of the building till she reaches his window when the receptionist informs her that he is on the 10th story. Father opens the door for her and extends his neck. He leaps out of the window and dies after Abby takes his blood. The detective, who is on the phone with the receptionist in the foyer, overhears the nurse screaming at the nurse's station outside Father's room. By the time the detective enters Father's room, he has already perished after leaping from his 10th floor window, leaving only the note, I'm sorry Abby. Returning to the apartment complex, Abby knocks on Owen's bedroom window to request entry. Even though Owen is dozing off, he commands her to enter. After taking off her bleeding clothes, Abby climbs into his bed. When Owen asks her whether she'd like to date him long term, Abby responds, I'm not a girl. They decide to commit to one another because Owen doesn't seem to mind. I must be gone and live or stay and die, she writes in a note to Owen as she leaves her own flat the following morning. On a school outing to a nearby pond for some ice skating, Kenny, Mark, and Donald confront Owen once more and threaten to shove him into an ice crevasse if he doesn't stop. This time, though, Owen defends himself and swings a large stick at Kenny's head, cutting his ear open. Other students have also seen a body stuck in the ice around this time. The body is cut free and the police are called. Later that day, when school is out, Owen takes Abby to a hidden area in the apartment complex's basement. When Abby inquires as to their purpose, Owen produces a knife, cuts his finger, and offers to combine bloods with her. Abby, who is now suffering hunger because Father is no longer giving her blood, can no longer take it as she watches Owen's blood drip to the ground. She collapses on the ground and starts slurping up Owen's blood. Finally, she takes on the characteristics of a true vampire, including sharp teeth, warts on her face, and white cataracts for eyes. When Owen doesn't leave after being hissed at, Abby leaves on her own. Abby jumps on Virginia, Sasha Barcy, the next person to pass by, out of pure bloodlust. Fortunately, Abby is stopped from killing Virginia by Larry, Dylan Kennan, Virginia's lover. Unfortunately for Virginia, Larry's intervention just ensures that she will eventually turn into a vampire herself. The following morning, after receiving 6 pints of blood, she realizes the shift. When the nurse opens the curtains, she awakens, begins to sip her own blood off her arm, and then erupts in flames. Owen may be a wuss, but he's no pushover. He approaches Abby at her apartment that evening after realizing she is a vampire. She merely responds with the statement I need blood to live when he asks if she is a vampire, indicating that she does not appear to understand the phrase. She gets questioned about her actual age. Like before, she acknowledges her age but claims to have been that age for a very long time. She responds that her father wasn't truly her father when he inquires about his whereabouts. An old photo of Abby and Father that was taken when Father was around 12 years old is discovered by Owen. Abby seems just as she does right now. Owen leaves because he is worried about what she might do to him. Later, Abby knocks on the door just as he is ready to begin eating the pot pie his mother left for him. Owen refuses to grant her request to enter. What would happen if she weren't invited, he queries. Abby enters obliviously and in silence. Her skin quickly starts to bleed. She is promptly welcomed inside by Owen, who also hugs her. Abby changes into one of his mother's old outfits after taking a shower. Thank you for watching and don't forget to like and subscribe.